In today's video, I'm going to show you how important it is to choose the correct yarn for filet crochet. My name is Randy, and I like to make art and do crafts. So before we start by testing out a bunch of different colors and textures of yarn, I'm going to show you what filet crochet actually is and how to make a template. So to make our template, I'm going to use this collage pad that has these squares on it. In Dutch, it's ruitjespapier. And of course, you need a pen. So I think I'm gonna choose a cute little heart pattern to make our swatches. So you make your design by just putting crosses in these little squares. So I'm just gonna start and make a little heart shape. So each box I'm putting a cross in is going to be the boxes that are going to be crochet closed. And the ones that don't have crosses are going to stay open. It's really easy if you know what you want to make. Otherwise, just go online. There are so many patterns you can buy online. So I think I want to give it a little shiny part. So I'm going to actually mark this out. So this should have been open, if that makes any sense. And we're going to make a border that's going to be 2 boxes open. So 2 up here, 2 on the sides. So this is going to be our little test square. And I'm going to show you how it's going to look in all the different types of yarns I have and show you why some are better than others. I've been talking about this like you already know how to do filet crochet. If you do, you can skip to where I'm doing the test or like you can just stay and watch. But let's just show you how to do the filet crochet first and then we can do our swatches. And the reason why I'm making this video is so you don't make the mistake I did. Let me show you what my mistake was. This is one I made earlier. Well, I made the mistake of making it in a multicolored yarn. I actually almost finished it. I know that there are letters here, but do you know that there are letters here? With something dark behind it, it's a little bit clearer, but it's nowhere as near as clear as I wanted it to be. And I think that's because of the yarn color I chose. So this piece, I'm actually going to frog completely. So yeah, this was 2 weeks of my time. I'm hoping this video will save you from making this mistake. To make my first little swatch, I'm going to use this cotton acrylic blend. It says to use a 3mm hook. I'm going to use a slightly smaller one. I'm going to use a 2.5mm hook. This is so your stitches are a little bit tighter. So I decided to do a little bit of an off-white color. So this is the yarn that comes from my ball of yarn. This is the tail and I'm crossing it over. I'm just going to put my hook through the loop and catch the yarn from the ball and pull it through, making a slip knot. That's it. It's that simple. Want me to show you again? So make a loop. This one goes over. Then I'm going to put my hook through that loop, catch this yarn here and pull it through. And there you go. And what I'm gonna do, this is kind of hard to show, but this is my tail. This is the yarn from the ball. I'm gonna loop the tail over my hook, like so. Then loop the yarn of the ball over my hook and then pull through. It is a bit difficult in the beginning because it's kind of hard to hold on to. But once you've got a couple, it should become easier to hold. I'm probably gonna make my base off camera because it's just too hard to show you and make it correctly. But you loop the tail, loop the ball yarn and pull through. Can you see it's making this little chain? So tail, ball, pull through, tail, ball, pull through. And I'm just going to make a chain long enough for my base. So it's going to look something like this. And that's going to make it way easier to put your hook through than a single chain. So I'm going to make a base chain. It's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 stitches long. Yeah, stitches, right? Stitches? Where's the loop? I don't know. I'm going to look that up. But it's going to be 13 wide. So I already made a mistake in telling you what to do, because if you would do just 1 stitch for each little box, this is going to be how wide my test piece would be. But for a filet crochet, each little box is 3 or 4 stitches wide. In this case, I'm going to do 3 stitches wide. So I need to do 13 times 3 plus 1, and that should give me the right width. So let's do some math. 13 times 3 is 93. So here's Randy from the future. While I was editing, I thought, let's just stop it here before I embarrass myself any further. First of all, it's 15 squares by 15 squares. So each box is 2 posts and 1 opening. So to make a row of 15 openings, you need to do 15 times 2 plus 1. That 1 is going to close off the box at the end. So my base chain is going to be 31 stitches wide. So hopefully that clears things up. So let's get back to the video. So I'm at the end of my little base chain. Normally you do chain 2, but I like to make a little double single, and I'm going to stick it in the bottom one of my base chain. Then I'm going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Then I'm gonna do that again. So you have 2 loops. I'm gonna put my hook through the bottom one, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through. So as you can see, here's my tail where I ended my chain, and this is my first double. And now I'm going to turn my work, and now I'm going to start crocheting that way. So I'm going to read my little chart from right to left on the first row. It's going to be all open boxes. So to do that, I'm just going to chain 1, and then I'm going to put a double in the third one in my base. So that's 1, 2, 3. So I'm skipping 1. Just going to put double crochet in there. I'm probably the worst one to explain to you how to crochet, because I taught myself how to do this by watching YouTube videos. Create this little square. I'm just gonna do that till I have 13 open boxes. Yay! I finally got 15 holes. This took forever. And I'm gonna make a double crochet-ish thingy to turn. Gonna put it through that bottom loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, go the bottom loop, yarn over, pull through. Then I'm going to do 2 slip stitches, not 1. And I'm gonna turn my work, yarn over. I'm gonna go on top of this double through both of the top loops like that. Finish my double. So now I've got my first little open box, but we're on this side. We're here because we went from right to left and we turned the work, but we're not going to go from right to left. I'm going to go from left to right. So if you're doing a symmetrical design, you can just read from one side to the other. If you're doing a design that's not symmetrical, so for example, I'm going to leave this one open, you're going to see that it's important to know if you're going from right to left or left to right. So I always just go from right to left, left to right, and so on. I'm just going to start the third row, and then I'm going to show you how to make this little box. So during my crocheting, I was thinking about my design, and my design was like fully opaque, and I think that would have not proven the point I was going to make. So I decided to try and make a heart in a heart shape. So all of the dark boxes are going to be open, but I'm actually now at the first closed box. And how I do that is I'm actually going to make a double, but I'm going to do it in the open space, like how you do it in a granny square, I guess. I always felt like that looks the best. So that's now a closed box. Let me just finish the whole row. And as you can see, this box is closed. I'm gonna finish this swatch, show you, and then I'm gonna start with another yarn and show you how that looks. Because the point of this video is not me showing you how to crochet, because there are so many people out there that know how to tell you that way better than I can. I'm just gonna finish this swatch and I'll get back to you. So I finished this swatch, and as you can see, even lying down on my background, you can clearly see the design on it. So I'm very interested to see how it's going to look in other colors. And I think the next one I'm going to use is this orange acrylic one. It's a lot thicker than this one, but I'm still going to use the same hook because I use a lot of tension. I'm going to pick you up again when I'm at the stage of the first closed square. So first, to show you again how to make an open box, I just did my double crochet, and I'm just going to do a slip stitch like that, yarn over, and I'm going to put my hook through the top loops of the next little stick, so of my double crochet, and loop another one. So now we're going to create the closed box. So I'm just going to loop over, go in that open space, pull my yarn up, pull up a loop, go through 2, go through 2, yarn over, put it in that next stitch. My tension is always really tight, so that's why my hook keeps getting caught. In that another double, so that one is closed, another slip stitch, and pull up a loop, go through 2, go through 2. So now you can see that one's closed, that one is open. I'm just gonna finish till it looks the same as this one. So I finished the orange one and you can clearly see a difference here. This one is so much clearer than the orange one. Even though these stitches are nice and full in the closed boxes, I do still think this is what I prefer. I'm going to use the black acrylic yarn that's the same as the orange one and do the same swatch with the same hook and see how that comes out. I bought these two yarns and they're supposed to be the same, but they aren't. You can clearly see it like this. This is a lot thinner. That's getting me a swatch that's a lot smaller. But there's also another thing. I think you can see it clearly, and I'm gonna make it even more clear by putting the white one on here. Look at the difference. There is actually a heart in here, see? But if you don't have the correct color behind it, it's not gonna show. Even with the white paper behind it, it's so difficult to see. And anybody who says to start crocheting a pattern or anything, amigurumi or anything with black yarn to a beginner, please don't. This was a nightmare to do. Even with my bright lights, I could hardly see where to put my hook. So half of this was just guessing. But again, you can see the heart, but this is so much clearer. I'm gonna try a couple of different ones. I think I want to do maybe a bright white cotton and a blue one just to compare the two colors. And I also think I want to do the lilac. That's the same one as this one, and see if there's a big difference between a lighter color and a pastel color. So I'll be crocheting for a little bit and I'm gonna show you my results and we'll talk about it. So this is what it actually looks like when I'm crocheting for a project. I'm mostly just on the couch with my dog, nice and cozy. So here are my final swatches. This is the acrylic cotton blend, and this is an off-white, and this is a lilac. You can already see a major difference. And I've got some colored paper, and I'm gonna try and show you the difference the background makes. So if you go for white, this one still stands out the most. Then go a little bit darker. You can see this one gets a lot more clearer. So that was interesting to find out. And then if you go to black, then you can see that they're both almost identical, showing the design. My conclusion on this one is that yes, you can do a different color, but probably not with a lighter background. So that's the cotton and acrylic blend. And this is also a kind of fluffy yarn. It doesn't separate that easy. It's really nice to work with. So this is actually a full cotton, so the yarn doesn't stretch. And I don't like working with it because it separates a lot easier. The lighter color looks so much better than the darker one. So let's do the same with this one. Let's just put it on a bright white. I don't like either of these on the white. So the white is standing out more than the darker blue. So again, for this one, I think still the lighter color works better. But the moment you put it on black, this one starts to stand out again. So you can use the darker color, but on a darker background. I really thought a lighter background would give me a better result. So let me just show you both. Can you see how much difference the background makes when choosing the yarn color? So here you can still see the design here. It's almost not visible. Okay, so that's the full cotton. So then we go to the cheap acrylic. I don't like using this, but I do think it makes the design nice and tight. So as you can see, there's not that much light coming through, even if you pull on it. So I think that's a plus for the acrylic. But let's see what it does on the bright white. I don't think either is actually that visible. This is still more visible than the black. And I still think you're crazy if you want to crochet in black, but that's my personal opinion. Let's go for the gray. Still the orange is winning. And of course, like black on black, it's not gonna show. Well, no. So one conclusion I'm gonna make out of this one right now, black is not it. Even if you're going to be putting it on white, it's still not that visible. It just absorbs all the light and it just turns into a black void. So I wouldn't go and use black for filet crochet. Okay, and then I have two more that I did as extras. One was the one that I made my mistake with, and that's the multicolored one. And I also tried a really thin yarn that's actually used more for these kinds of projects. So as you can see, clearly difference. This one is so much better. Here, you cannot see that there's a heart in there. But let's just put them on the white. This one is still invisible. If you want to make an invisible message, maybe you can use a multicolored yarn. Let's go for the gray. I can hardly tell that there's a heart in here. And it's the same design. Okay, let's put the black on here. So that makes the orange really pop. So learn from my mistakes. Don't use a multicolored yarn for filet crochet. It just does not show up. It's barely visible. This one, however, this is what they probably use for the doilies. I used a 0.6mm hook for this one. I love to crochet with this. If you want to make like a doily or maybe a wall hanger, I would go actually for this yarn because look at it. The design is so nice and clear. But if you want to go for a clothing item or anything else, I would say go for the acrylic blend and in a lighter color. Because as you can see, it has nice clear open boxes. It fills out the spaces nicely, even if it's pulled slightly. So my conclusion for this video is using this one if you want to have your design stand out. I hope this was helpful. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And for now, I want to thank you for watching and I see you in the next one. Bye everyone! Filming this is the hardest thing ever. As you can see, I frogged this piece. I actually frogged it 3 times already. I need to go to bed because my math is not mathing.